This is Tom Salemi. We're here at the Aesthetics Innovation Summit, the very first one. I'm happy to be joined by Aubrey Rankin, the CEO and co-founder of HintMD. Aubrey, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Tom.
So your company was sort of the talk of the town a little bit earlier. You're getting some free publicity up there on stage during the toxin discussion. Tell us a bit about HintMD. It's a really fascinating company.
Yeah, we're very fortunate and thankful for all the support. And all that we want to do is, as a platform, we developed this cloud-based subscription platform to really make subscriptions work in the aesthetic industry, which is really the trend we see in the consumer space. And how do we make actually the subscription economy, work inside aesthetics? We just was not as easy as we thought, but we were able to pull it off, and very excited about it.
So what are people, are physicians subscribing or the patients subscribing, and what are they subscribing to?
Yeah, our physicians are actually using our platform to really customize a treatment plan that's personalized for the patient, and then the patient subscribes to their treatment plan with their provider. So it's really a way to actually keep the patient more compliant on their treatment plan, really present it in the easy monthly payment that really gives them the ability to commit to their treatment plan long term, and this way it's also increased loyalty with the practice.
Now, we've seen obviously subscriptions with Netflix and other non-medical uses, but are there industries inside or outside of healthcare that use a subscription-based platform to sell products in this way? And I guess, it would be in healthcare if it were in partnerships with physicians.
What makes it very tough really is just to convert that stereotype subscription over, because a treatment plan changes over time and it's really a high ticket item. And what we just wanted to do is actually, how do we make that type of subscription work in our space? And we believe we're the first dynamic subscription which enabled us to actually patent the technology, which really mean in layman's terms is that you can change the subscription at any moment in time. Because with a changing treatment plan, you need that technology to exist. And that's something we had to go and invent as a company with our engineering team. And obviously, like we mentioned, it's patented technology, which really enables it to work in our space, which we hope will also then later transfer outside of our space into the broader healthcare market.
So what is the patentable ability that you have? You're able to change the subscription. How is that?
It's really, if you look at any subscription, there's actually invoice that's being created. So Stripe is really the leader in subscription in Silicon Valley, and when they create the underlying subscription, they actually create a fixed invoice that they bill against. And then when you change that invoice, you have to cancel the invoice. And if there's any outstanding amounts, you have to collect it before you can create a new subscription. What we have to do is actually, how can I just stretch the subscriptions over time and also volume? How can I make it bigger and smaller so the patient experiences that my treatment or my monthly payment just went up or down, which is really how you price it, which wasn't possible when we actually used Stripe. We actually used Stripe in the beginning, but we had to cancel. So if you cancel and then charge the patient experience there was so much confusion around it. Mm-hmm. And how can you make it really, and that dynamic nature is the piece that we actually patent, which really ring-fence the dynamic subscription. So if anybody else wants to do it, they will have to use existing technologies, which really brings a lot of limitations in keeping a patient consistent on a treatment plan.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the players involved. So the patients obviously are subscribing and they're paying a fee. Where do the physicians fit into this?
Yeah, so the physician is really, at the end of the day, the expert and really telling you what products you should be on. So they really, on our platform, create in office on an iPad or a PC, create a treatment plan. Then the patient subscribes to it. We just make our platform available to the physicians also at a subscription fee. So there's both a flat monthly fee for using the platform and then a per patient management fee.
And do you have a relationship with the companies selling the products as well, or is that through the physician?
No. So we, yes, we do partnership, but we don't make money from them. What we want to do is any savings we pass on straight to the provider, because how do we make sure that it stays a win-win-win, where the patient, the physician, and the partners win. So we are bringing more partners to the platform. So all the skincare companies on us provide free shipment straight to the consumer. It does not come out of the doctor's margin, and we make no margin on that. The same with reward programs. All these brands have multiple reward programs. And because we are the transaction and we know what you just received, we automate it. So taking the work away from any staff member to manually post these points to each patient's file every time they check out.
Interesting. Can this be leveraged in other specialties? I could see maybe this working in ophthalmology or something where people need a steady supply of eye drops or some other kind of regular treatment.
Absolutely. We think there's an enormous opportunity outside of aesthetics, but what we want to try and do first is really focus, which is sometimes very tough for a startup because there's so many people introducing revenue opportunities to us, but our focus is to make really aesthetic subscriptions really work well because that will invite a lot of other opportunities in other spaces.
What's the biggest challenge that you hadn't anticipated? What have you come up against?
I think in the beginning was just technology. First is how do you make a subscription actually work inside our space? The second one was really practice integration. How do you make it so easy that we can have a drop off the box experience? How do we make it that the practice is up and running very quickly? And that's where we spend the remainder of this year. We will just focus on that, which will really enable us to scale faster.
And I'm just curious, last question, how did you transition into this? You were with Zeltiq before, you doing more traditional sales for them. Was this something that you saw an opening for while you were doing that, or something that just came to you later on?
I came from a very different industry even before aesthetics. I was in the M&A space with PricewaterhouseCoopers, and we actually merged the Mars and Fraxel into Salto Medical, and then I got recruited in the space. But when I was at Zeltiq, we had the fortune to really to help build the company up, and we started to see even if the product is so great, people didn't stay, committed to their treatment plan, and they started to blame the company for not delivering results, but it was actually them not completing their treatment cycles. So therefore, we decided, and it was a very tough decision because Allergan was sniffing around, but we decided to leave to go and take on this opportunity because we found it wasn't just a Zeltiq issue, it was across the industry.
Mm-hmm. Fascinating, great. And are you raising money, or this is an opportunity to tell us how well capitalized you are?
Yeah, we're very fortunate. We actually kicked off a Series B, but 90% of our company is actually funded by our physicians. They return their money so quickly, and it's been phenomenally well received. We're raising a second part of the Series B that will take us part of past profitability because at 500 practices, we break even as a company, which is a great platform to scale from. So when we're done with our Series B, we don't believe we'll have to raise money again.
That's amazing. So you don't have any institutional venture capital money, or very little?
Not at this moment, really by choice. I think we wanted to build a company on our terms and our right timeline so that we can do it right versus scaling too quickly. But I think we will now, in the second part of the Series B, invite a few, venture funds, but more funds that literally focus on growth and saying that's got a different timeline so that we can do it right versus just chasing revenue.
Excellent. It's a great story. Thanks for sharing it today.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it.